Now, may I request Dr. Bipin Kumar Rai, Head of Environment, Protection, Safety and Health at Continental India Tyres, to kindly make his presentation.
Very good morning to all the guests and respectable speakers. And I really congratulate each of you to be here and be a part of an effort making tire and rubber industry in this country a circular one. Now, coming to the circular economy, see, it's not a choice now. This is, if you look, it's a business opportunity. If you see, it is the only concept which can delay the process of this extension of this planet. So if you want, you have to protect your business, you have to protect your planet, you have no other choice except to follow the sustainable development process. Because what we have done in last many years, starting from 1800s when the industrialization occurs, and what we learned from Western country of the linear approach of the economy, which has created all the problems. And all those problems which have been created is going to impact severely to us, the South Asia. Entire our climate crisis and everything will be visible first. We are going to have the impact first. We are going to suffer. And another part is that we have seen we are a 1.3 billion population country, and we cannot have the same kind of development process which Western world has followed. So we cannot copy, and our rich tradition and the way we live, all these 1.3 billion population in this country, we are already some or other way are practicing sustainability, whether we know it as a management philosophy or not, but it is a part of our life. Now with this, when you speak about circular economy, there are a lot of text, lot of complexity, but in simple words, what business needs to look across? We are always in business looking in dollars, euros, rupees, but none of the business entity looks in terms of kg and joules. Matter and energy are constant. We have to learn to look into our business with matter in kg and energy in joules. Once we started doing, you will find better insights to take care of business, and it will really help you to achieve the sustainability goals. So that's the one thing. And what is the objective of the circular economy? The first slide I want. Yes. What is the objective of the circular economy? The objective of the circular economy is only one. We want to maximize the functional utility of material and energy along our economic sphere. Just one thing. We have to ensure that the functional value of our material energy, we have to maximize. That is the fundamental concept. And that is what is for objective of the circular economy. It is objective of our individual life to save this planet. That's what is required. And the driver is we have to stay competitive in business. And for being competitive in business, you have no other choice to ensure that in your factories or during the entire life value chain of your product, you are able to maximize the functional value of your energy and material. Resource depletion and scarcity otherwise is going to have in our front, saying climate change, it's really a crisis, and we are overshooting the planetary limits, and if we don't change, we will limit our growth. And that's what is the driver for this. And this is not, we should not take as this extended producer responsibility. This is a subset of circular economy. We cannot look it into as an environmental burden. It's basically a business necessity. And the opportunity is, if we are able to understand and foresee, this is going to give us a new business opportunity. After this regulations and even before that, we have a very good recycling setup in our country. Almost every product we in this country recycle. I told you that India has recycling and sustainability in our blood. We already doing this. That's why this planet is surviving. If Indians start using the same amount of material energy as the Western people, this planet will not survive. Protecting business against scarcity of resource and volatile prices. And this concept, when we think about this, it's going to lead the innovation. And when you do innovations, you really feel happy about it. And then there are many industrial symbiosis which is going to happen with this circular economy mindset. And for you, and what I say always, that nature wastes nothing. We have learned from nature everything. So when nature don't waste anything, then why we in our industry? So with this, I move to the next end of life tire management. Yes, this is what happened in Western world, specifically in Europe. You can have a look on that. There are 3 models. My previous speakers has already touched on that. There is a one model which is called extended producer responsibility. The second one is free market system, and the third model is tax system. I got the opportunity to work with Professor Lindquist, who have coined this term extended producer responsibility in 2001 when I was working on ROHS and WEEE. The concept is very clear. Extended producer responsibility means the producer has to take the responsibility of his product. And this is some way as a product stewardship. When the product end of life, once the product is completed his life, then taking care of its recycling, disposal, and most important, environmentally beneficial disposal. And in extended producer responsibility, when you make producers responsible, then only this environmental beneficially disposal used to happen. And in free market system, it's just like in India today, we have recycler ecosystem where recyclers are there. They are recycling the tires. There are secondary raw materials for which the market is already there. And a tax system. A tax system is a system where the government impose a tax on the manufacturers or on the product, and at the end, with that money, the government take care of the recycling part. So the EPR, if you see in EU, its recycling rate is 100%, and most of the countries are covered under extended producer responsibility model. And here the producer is responsible for ensuring that their product has a suitable recycling and recovery route. Now coming to the functional value of tire. See, this is a product-based economy, and mind my words, we have to move toward the functional economy in the years ahead. And probably this generation Z, which I say, the people who are born from 1990 to 2000, they will remember this product-based economy. This is going to ultimately transition towards a service-based and then towards the functional value. Customers don't want a product, they want a functional value of the product. And we have to look with that aspect, because ultimately this product is basically a lifeline of the economy, and across that, one part it's fulfill the need of our person, ease our life. At the same time, it generates revenues and the societal value. So we look the product in such way. When I come to the functional value of tire, tire we need for mobility of the vehicle. Tire has to bear the weight of the vehicle. Tire has to provide grip between the vehicle and the road for braking and acceleration, acts as a vibration absorber, enhancing road comfort and safety, and improving the overall performance of the vehicle. So that's the basically functional value of tire. We have to ensure these values. And there is, most of the people, I have the R&D chief here, they know about that magical triangle for which the entire tire industry works. Because you need to have less rolling resistance for fuel consumption. You need to have at the same time abrasion resistance for product durability. At the same time, you need to have grip. And these all three are opposing requirements. So having the, and we need all these three in one tire. These are the composition of the tires. My previous speaker already have shown that. I will skip it. And here the only point which I want to make is that tire industry consumes 76% of the natural rubber produced in this world. And most of the natural rubber is coming from only one rubber plant. And that rubber plant is cultivated in a narrow bandwidth of an equator. So because of this climate change, this rubber crop plantation will also going to impact. And that's why the industry is now looking across the other substitute. In Continental, we have successfully done trial on the Russian dandelion as a substitute for natural rubber. So now the point is how we have to achieve this functional value, and then I usually say that we have to design for environment. We have to design our product not for customer. Customer needs the functional value of product, but we need to design the product for the environment. When we say designing for the environment, it means we have to first look into, I always say material and energy. These are the main things in this world. So we need to have reduced material intensity. And when we say material intensity across the life cycle perspective of the product, how we can reduce how we can ensure that during manufacturing, during traveling, every time, how we can reduce the material intensity of the process. When we are designing the product, at the same time, we have to look across this. Reducing energy intensity. Third is the use of sustainable raw materials, renewables. Now, when we say sustainable raw materials, what does this mean? The one trend which is prevailing right now is moving from these petrochemicals to bio-based raw materials, right? And when we are moving from petrochemicals to bio-based raw materials, there are a lot of examples, like I have seen people are trying to replace silica with rice husk as a silica extracting from the rice husk. There are rubber seed oil, tea seed oil, soya oil, and all these things are in experimental stage. But again, a word of caution. During this development journey, we have already reduced our cultivated land. So when we are trying to switch from petro-based carbon source to nature-based or bio-based, we are also to remember that we need lands first to have food. Means all our raw materials would not start competing with the food requirement of future generation. So if it is coming from a waste, agro waste, it's good. But if it is the food, then we really have to think about that. So that's one thing which I want to highlight. Then reduce dispersion of toxic substance across the value chain, greenhouse gas emissions reducing, increasing product durability. And this is general common for all kind of products, not only for tire. When we say product durability, now in tires, how we can maximize or increase our product durability. As you know, 3 to 6% of pressure drop every month occurs in the tire. And this leads to the 4% of increase in fuel consumption, right? But at the same time, the product durability lifespan of the tire get reduced by 45%. So there are many concepts like intelligent tire. People are putting these chips in the tire which can give you a real time data. So that effort is basically increasing the product life. So we have to look about the product durability, service intensity of the product, increasing product extendability, means facilitate repair and remanufacturing of the product, and then the product should be easy for disintegration and recycling at the end of life. So that is what, with this objective, we manufacture our products. It is definitely going to address the circular economy 7 R's straight way. Most of the things are linked. So that's why when we practice sustainability, in our manufacturing process or in the corporate level, sustainability needs to be taken as a mindset first, and then we need to have an organization structure across the sustainability. We have to set the indices, right indices, to capture, monitor, and track. And that will really help us to build our business as well as to be ahead in the market. Now coming to the India EPR policy for ELT. I have seen this EPR policy. We have, if we come about the responsible actors, we have Central Pollution Control Board and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. We have producers and we have recyclers. These three are the actors in this India APR regulation. CPCB has provided a framework, set recycling targets, operate online portal for registration and all. Producers' responsibility is just to get registered with CPCB and purchase the EPR certificate for their liability. In governance, no dedicated organization to govern the process of recycling. We have individual small players, recyclers, who are going to have the control on the recycling. We don't, and the general environmental legislations are applicable on them. Usually, we have the Automotive Tires and Rubber Recycler Association. We can assume that they are going to be a dedicated organization moving forward. And a reporting obligation exists for the recyclers to CPCB for EPR certificate generation and then sale of the data for traceability. And funding, this is a free market, market-driven, and this market-driven is by secondary raw materials. Extra income will be generated from EPR certificates. But my point is, these market-driven forces will never allow you to follow environmentally beneficial disposal. Recovery of material or recovery of energy from the product is possible. There are a number of routes. But if you want to do an environmentally beneficial recovery, market-driven process or approach will never help. And that is what we have seen in Western market also. So, as a person, I have not much optimistic with this extended producer responsibility the way it is right now, because it will give certain add-on money to the recyclers. But whether that money goes into the technology upgradation of the recycling facility or environmental beneficial disposal, there is no guarantee, which is basically the intent of this ultimate concept. So here, what I understand is, we as an industry, we have to understand that this is a requirement for our survival and for our business, and hence we all three, the regulators, the recyclers and the industry, the OEMs, we have to make a strong collaborations, and we have to work together to achieve this circular part. And moreover, everyone is publishing GRI report, corporate sustainability report, and all the big corporations and everyone has vision 2030, 2040, 2050 for carbon decarbonize and dematerialize and all those stuffs. Ultimately, for me, these looks very far away, because we are fighting a crisis and we are putting visions for 20, 30, 50 years ahead. But still, we have something. And we are thinking in that direction, right direction. That is the good sign. But we have to take this opportunity. This forum should become strong, well collaborated, and we have to do this because this is the right thing for our business, for our planet. And the key feature right now of our EPR is that we have an online system, and from this EPR we will get only one thing, which is the traceability of the tires, how much it's recycling and what is exactly going to happen. But it's very difficult for more environment-friendly disposal. Now coming to the expectations from a successful EPR policy, as a producer, we need to be responsible for end-of-life management of our products in an environmentally beneficial manner. We establish a more transparent and inclusive governance system, as well as greater focus on sufficiency strategies. This sufficiency strategies we are also to take into our personal life. If I have one product, if I have to dispose it, I have to think first whether I can retain the value of that product still by repairing or reusing or some or other way before throwing it. So obviously we in India, we have many small shops who can repair your mobiles, who have all these, even the Jeep wala you will find, on the road, who change the zip of the bags and all these things. This is already embedded in our system. We have to preserve those things. Using and throwing is not going to survive. Material circulatory of tires is beneficial for a resource perspective. You can get material recovery or you can get resource back from the tire, but it's not necessarily for environmental perspective. So we have a potential conflicting situation here, and that we need to understand from the manufacturer's perspective as well as from the recycler and the local community at large. So that's an important point which in this EPR I feel that this is not well addressed. Sustainable development of waste tires recycling technologies to achieve, and this in recyclers also, we have to think about the sustainable technologies where we can survive and to achieve full recovery at highest potential value and minimal material functionality loss without wastage of resources or uncontrolled emissions. This I put these phrases just to give a flavor what exactly we mean by the sustainable development of waste tires recycling technologies. What are the objectives of that? And then regulatory support. Yes, we need a lay down specifications from the regulators about the secondary raw material, their quality, their safety. Those things are required to make this industry, a recycling industry, a better evolving. And technological feasibility of direct material substitution. This is very important challenge for us as a manufacturer. If I am able to recycle back or put 25% of my waste tire recycled material back into my tire, I will save 25% of resource. So that is important. Are we able to directly substitute, close the loop of the circular economy? So that is where the tire manufacturers R&D, and we have a session on R&D investments, and so probably there the speakers will discuss. And last but not least is the initiate unprecedented collaboration among tire manufacturers, recyclers and regulators. This is very much required. Now the next slide, which already my previous speaker has shared this. This shows the hierarchy of waste management. We always have to prefer reuse, recycling, other material recovery options, and then recovery hybrid, like where we are trying to recover energy recovery and disposal. And if you have seen the data which my previous speaker has shown, 49 to 50% in Europe, they are recovering energy from this. In US, it's 76%, but in waste management hierarchy, it is not as viable. That's why I say the recycling industry needs to be environmentally beneficial industry. It's not only the objective is to recover things. The objective is to recover with looking on the environment part. And one best thing, if we are able to increase the natural rubber content in our tire, the cement kilns and where this tire will use, if it is more than 25%, it is considered as carbon neutral. It's a good thing. So we have to look in the totality when we work on these sustainability issues. And next point, which with that slide I will end my session. This is a conceptual framing. We can call it as 10 value retention options. This 10 value retention options, and here the first are principles. The value retention first option is to refuse. And if you see a person from a corporate is saying that we have to reduce tire consumptions, it seems odd. But yes, if we have to survive, if we want our future generations to survive on this planet, we have to slow down this economy. We have to think, we need highways, we need big highways in this country, but at the same time we have to think about how we can reduce travel demands of our goods, our services, our employees and myself. This is important because this planet cannot have that much of freedom that because everything is limited, resources are limited. So we have to think first to refuse, and even producers who can refuse use of certain materials and designs. And then the reduce option, linked to producers, less material. What I say is material intensity and energy intensity. That is linked with reduce, reuse, same consumer of product to another one, repair, refurbish, remanufacture, repurpose, recycle material, recover, and remining of our landfills. That is ultimate the objective. So if we are really going with this mindset and with this concept, this particular EPR is the initial, is the first step in this country. But yes, for our own business, for our own country, for our own planet, we have to think in a circular way, and we have to ensure that sustainability didn't become a cosmetic word on our websites. Sustainability really get imbibed in our fabric of our manufacturing, our product designing, and at the same time, we as an Indian, in our ways, in our traditions, we have a strong base for this. We pray for the trees and all those things. And in our day-to-day life, because 1.3 billion people surviving in this country, we are really practicing sustainability without knowing it as a management philosophy. So we have to continue with that. Thank you so much.